Most people who move to Fort Myers ask me the same question: where are the nicest neighborhoods? And I can point them to a new construction in Estero, luxury high-rises in Bonita, waterfront estates in Cape Coral, all good answers. But every once in a while, I get a different kind of buyer. One who isn't asking where the newest money lives, they want to know where the old money settled. And that's a completely different conversation. Because the families who built Fort Myers' original wealth, they didn't buy in subdivisions. They built enclaves. And a surprising number of those enclaves still exist. Still exclusive, still the most sought after addresses in the city. Today, I'm taking you on a chronological tour, starting with the very first planned neighborhood Fort Myers' founding families ever built, and ending with what most people in this market consider the ultimate old money address in the city right now. Hey, I'm Rick Harrison. I've been buying and selling real estate in Southwest Florida for years. I came here from a background in construction, so I look at these neighborhoods a little differently than most agents do. I know what these homes are made of, what it takes to maintain them, and what the address actually delivers versus what it just looks like on paper. 4 neighborhoods, over 100 years of history. Let's get into it. Neighborhood 1, Dean Park Historic District. If you want to stand on the oldest surviving ground of Fort Myers' old money, the neighborhood where the city's founding families gathered and built their legacies during the Gilded Age, you come here. Dean Park was the vision of Fort Myers businessman John Morgan Dean. In 1902, he bought the entire 37-acre parcel that would become this neighborhood for $8,500. He held it for over a decade, waiting by his own account until buyers were ready to pay for paved streets, sidewalks, underground utilities, and the landscaping he had in mind. When he finally started building in the mid-1910s, the covenants required every home to cost at least $2,000. That's serious money in 1920. Today, the median listing price in Dean Park is around $435,000 at approximately $317 a square foot. That's what a century of Fort Myers old money looks like in dollar terms. The homes went up between 1916 and the mid-1920s, and the families who built them were Fort Myers' most prominent people. Craftsman bungalows, Mediterranean Revival, Spanish, Dutch Colonial, English Tudor, all side by side on the same blocks. These weren't tract homes, these were statements. Dean Park was a social center of the city, the place where deals were made and the city's wealthiest residents called home. Today it's on the National Register of Historic Places, listed in 2013. About 80 homes total, with 58 classified as contributing historic structures. Because inventory is that thin, prices can move significantly depending on what comes available. So here's what you need to understand going in. I come from a construction background, and I can tell you, maintaining and updating a home in a preservation district is real work. The historic covenants govern what you can and can't change about the property. For the right buyer, there's nowhere else in Fort Myers quite like it. But go in with clear eyes about what that ownership actually involves. As fortunes grew, so did the appetite for grander addresses. Neighborhood 2, Edison Park Historic District. In the 1920s, if you wanted to live where the most celebrated minds in America spent their winters, where Edison had his laboratory and Ford had his mango grove, Edison Park was a neighborhood that grew up around all of it. Here's what makes Edison Park different from Dean Park. Dean Park is a full preservation neighborhood. The covenants, the architectural review, the National Register designation all govern what you can do with your property. Edison Park is looser than that. The character here is primarily 1940s and 1950s ranches and estate homes, many of which have been significantly updated. So you get the historic address and the McGregor corridor prestige without necessarily inheriting a full preservation project. That's a meaningful distinction for a lot of buyers. Prices start at just under $300,000 for mid-century ranches and climb to around $1.2 million for the larger estate homes. The trailing 12-month median sale price has been around $467,000, up roughly 23% from the prior period. Worth paying attention to. Now, here's what most buyers I talk to don't know about this neighborhood. 1 mile from here is Fort Myers Country Club, locally known as the Fort. Donald Ross designed it, the same architect behind Pinehurst. It opened in 1917. Thomas Edison didn't just play here. He's the reason the course was built. He persuaded the club's board to hire Donald Ross, and the course went up a mile from his winter estate. That is how connected this neighborhood is to the people who shaped the city. And unlike Gulf Harbor's private members only model, the Fort is a publicly accessible municipal course. You can walk where Edison walked for the cost of a green fee. For a lot of buyers, that matters more than they expect. Before we get to the top 2 neighborhoods on this list, I want to mention something real quickly. If you're relocating to Southwest Florida and trying to figure out which community actually fits your lifestyle, your budget, and your situation, I built a short quiz on my website that does exactly that. It takes about 60 seconds to answer a few questions about how you want to live and what matters most to you, and it gives you your top 5 recommended communities in Southwest Florida, what flood zones they're in, what the price ranges they carry, and a link to learn more about each one. So you can find the link in the description below. Neighborhood 3, Town and River Estates. As Fort Myers old money matured through the mid-20th century, it didn't leave the McGregor corridor. It just moved deeper into it. Town and River Estates was developed in the 1960s and 1970s along the southern stretch of the same historic boulevard. And what it offered was something that earlier neighborhoods couldn't. Your own private dock, direct Gulf access right off the back of your house, and the kind of serious boating lifestyle that Fort Myers' original cattle barons could only have dreamed about. Here's what you actually find when you walk these streets. Many of the original CBS homes, concrete block structures, built solid but dated. They've been extensively renovated or torn down and replaced entirely. The right lens for a buyer here is this. The lot, the dock rights, and the canal position are where the real value lives. The structure on top of it is almost secondary. You're buying the water access. What you find today is a mix of well-established properties and multi-million-dollar waterfront estates built from the ground up on those original lots. Around a dozen waterfront homes listed at any given time with a median listing price around $1.25 million. This is not an entry-level neighborhood. What makes Town and River worth understanding as part of this old money story is the address. McGregor Boulevard carries a historical weight in Fort Myers that no newer road in Lee County can replicate. When you buy in Town and River, you're buying into that corridor. The same one that Edison and Ford made famous, but you're getting the waterfront lifestyle that the original Millionaires Row era never had access to. And I'll add this, sitting just north of Town and River along the same stretch of McGregor is the Landings, another established community from the same era with its own marina, golf, and bundled club lifestyle. It's not on today's list, but if the McGregor corridor appeals and Gulf Harbor feels like too much, the Landings is worth a close look. If you're seriously evaluating waterfront in Fort Myers, this is a stretch I work in regularly. Scan the QR code on the screen right now to download my free Southwest Florida relocation kit. It's everything you need to know before you even start looking at homes, what questions to ask, what the insurance market actually looks like, and what total cost of ownership really means in this market. You can also find the download link in the description and the pinned comment below. Neighborhood 4, Gulf Harbor Yacht and Country Club. At the southern end of the McGregor corridor where the Caloosahatchee bends towards the Gulf sits the address that defines what old money looks like in Fort Myers in 2026. Gulf Harbor Yacht and Country Club began construction in 1985 on 547 acres of Caloosahatchee riverfront land. The golf course opened that same year. The marina came online in the mid-1990s, and the community grew through 2010 into what it is today. 1,600 properties across 22 distinct sub-neighborhoods, condos, villas, single-family homes, and full estate properties. Price ranges from the low 200,000s into the multi-millions. Here's the data picture from the past year. 87 homes changed hands with an average asking price just under $900,000 and an average sold price around $831,000. List to sell ratio of 93%, meaning they got 93% of their listed asking price. Average days on market, over 200. That number tells you everything about who buys here. These are not panic buyers. They are deliberate, they do their homework, and they move when the right property comes available. That is the behavior of money that knows what it's doing. Now let's talk about what you get. The marina has 186 slips for vessels from 30 to 100 feet. You're 4.5 nautical miles from the Gulf, minutes from Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel. There's a 30,000 square foot clubhouse currently undergoing a $19 million renovation. A championship golf course designed by Ron Garl and Chip Powell, par-true tennis courts, an Olympic pool, and a full wellness center. Now here's where I need to slow down, because this is where a lot of buyers get surprised. The cost of ownership at Gulf Harbor is layered, and the number is much higher than most people assume going in. There's a master HOA, roughly $1,600 to $1,750 per year, and that covers the gates, the roads, and the shared grounds. But on top of that, every one of the 22 sub-neighborhoods has its own association fee. For condos in communities like the Shores or the Paramount, those neighborhood fees alone can run $900 to over $4,000 per quarter. That's potentially $1,200 to $1,600 a month before anything else. And that's still separate from the club memberships. Golf membership carries a $60,000 initiation and roughly $10,000 a year in dues. These are optional, but if you're buying here for the full lifestyle, they're part of the real budget conversation. For buyers comparing Gulf Harbor to newer gated communities in Bonita Springs or Estero, newer construction can't give you this address, this water access, or 40 years of established community infrastructure. That's what you're actually buying. The $19 million clubhouse renovation signals long-term confidence in this community, but before you make an offer, the right question to ask is exactly what it means for your assessments in your specific sub-neighborhood. That answer varies, and it matters. Gulf Harbor rewards the buyer who does their homework, and that's exactly the kind of buyer who ends up loving it here. These four Fort Myers neighborhoods, built over a century of cattle fortunes, industrial legacies, and waterfront ambition, prove that real luxury isn't about the newest amenities or the biggest square footage. Heritage, location, and the kind of established infrastructure that took generations to build are things no new development can manufacture from scratch. If you're seriously considering a move to Fort Myers and you want to talk through your specific situation, your budget, your timeline, whether you're a boater, which of these four neighborhoods actually make sense for you, reach out to me directly. You can call or text 239-310-5478. That's what I do for clients every single day. But if you're not quite ready for that call yet, find the link in the description and take the community quiz on my website. 60 seconds and you'll get your top 5 recommended communities based on your lifestyle and goals with flood zones, price ranges, and links to learn more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.